Hi everyone, my name is Krista and this is Ask an Auntie. Today we are talking to our sexually active women or young ladies. Please be adults. I'm not an advocate for teen pregnancy. I do really think that it's a better option for you to be an adult and be settled and stable before you're having children. My personal view, it may not be yours. And being stable and settled may not look the same for everybody, so remember that. But today we are talking about miscarriages, and this is the hard part of pregnancy. It's also the very sad part of pregnancies. Miscarriage can happen pretty much all the way until the baby is born. When you get closer to your due date, it is classified as a stillborn. A lot of times they don't know why those situations happen, and that's very unfortunate. If you've ever had a miscarriage, you know it's hard. I've had 5, never gets easier. So I want to talk about this as a part of being a mom, being a wife, being a mother, being an auntie. I just want to fill out some information for you guys, that way you are prepared if it ever happens to you, or if you have questions, because again, this is a safe place to bring your concerns or your questions. I'm not a doctor, I'm just a mom, and if I want more information, I will research it and happily share it with you if you have any questions. Some statistics from online. The American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology estimates that 26% of all pregnancies end in a miscarriage. So basically 1 in 4 women will have a miscarriage. That means if you are in a group of 4, odds are at least one of you has already had one if you are sexually active. So, and remember, being sexually active means that you can get pregnant no matter what usually. If you are having sex, it doesn't matter if you are using condoms or birth control, you can still get pregnant. They are 99% effective, but only when used correctly. And like every single time, they have to be used correctly. So the odds are that even if you were always using condoms, you could still get pregnant. The rubber could fail, it could rip, there could be a hole, there could be damage. A lot of men keep them in their wallet. That's not even a good place to keep them, because that's really hot and that's going to damage the rubber in them and make them not effective as much. So remember, if you're having sex, you can get pregnant. With the statistics that they list, they estimate that the number is quite a bit higher, because a lot of women don't know that they're pregnant when they have a miscarriage. So they may just think that they're having a heavier flow, they may just think that they're having a harsher period, and it's an unfortunate thing. And the only good part to that is you don't feel like you have lost something. And that's the only good news that comes out of that, is that if you were pregnant, you didn't know, you had a miscarriage, your body passed it, it's just a heavier flow, you don't know you're pregnant, then you don't feel like you've lost something. So that's at least a little bit of sort of good news, I guess. The Mayo Clinic estimates that 80% happen in the first trimester, which is why a lot of women don't know that they're pregnant. You could be pregnant and still get a period. It's not common, but it happens. You could be in the first trimester and you could still have spotting, which could make you think that you're just having a light period. So remember that. If your period doesn't look normal, go get a test. They're inexpensive. You can get them at the place where everything costs $1.25. Very simple. Take one if you're worried about it. The flip side is if you do know that you're pregnant and you have lost that pregnancy, make sure that you are seeking support, whether that comes from your spouse, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever you are close with. You could even, lean on your friends, talk with them. Odds are one of them has probably had a miscarriage as well, and they're going to know what you're going through. The only thing is not everybody is going to have the same experience or the same expectations of what their experience was for a miscarriage. Some may be devastated because this was a wanted child. It was a wanted pregnancy. Some may be okay with it and be like, when it happens, no big deal. And they're going to compartmentalize those feelings so that they don't affect them. And remember, that's how they managed it. That's how they deal, and that's not a reflection of them being cold. It's just how they manage those feelings. Your feelings could be big and bold, or they could be small and compartmentalized. If this is a time when having a baby wasn't appropriate for whatever situation you're in, or optimum, although it's never optimum to ever have kids because you're never 100% ready. You can think you are, and then you have kids and you're like, holy crap, what was I doing? But you know, it's a big, there's varying degrees of emotions that are going to go through this. So remember that other people's experiences may not be the same as yours. If this is a wanted child, my deepest condolences to you. You didn't do anything wrong. I want to stress and say that. Remember, grab a string of beads. Say that so that you do not imprint it on yourself that you did something wrong that caused this, because it happens and it sucks a lot. But remember that. Like it's just something that our bodies will do. Sometimes they don't attach to the uterus correctly. Sometimes they may not be developing correctly, and the cells may not be splitting right. Again, it's not your fault. So remember that. If this is a pregnancy that wasn't at this time wanted, maybe you are going through a breakup, your financial situation is not where it needs to be able to support yourself while you're pregnant and then support a child, and you're relieved that this is not going to be something to carry through. My condolences go out to you too. I'm sorry that this time was not okay for you to go through this and potentially have the joy. And I'm sure at the same time you're probably going, I wish that this was a better time. And if this is a time when you don't want children and you weren't trying to have children and you wanted to be child free, well, my condolences go out to you too, because it still sucks one way or another. If you don't want to have children, that is 100% okay. If you want a lot of children, okay. That's between you. And if you're married, it's between you and your spouse. Don't enter in a relationship where the guy wants 1 million children and you don't want any, because that's not fair to either of you. You have different expectations and it's not okay. The flip side of this, and I know that this may get people to just light their torches and grab their pitchforks. The flip side is abortion. Abortion is an option. I am very pro-choice, because if you have gone through some sort of event where you are pregnant with a child that is going to remind you of being SA'd or a traumatic event, then don't have the child, okay? Don't let anybody say, oh, you must have this. It's a blessing from God. It's not a blessing on your mentality if you're not okay with it, and that's okay. Remember that. It's okay. If you are a teenager and this is not a time for you to have a child, it's okay. If you want to have the child, it's okay. Remember that, okay? It's very simple. I'm not advocating for teen pregnancies. I'm really not. I would hope that you are an adult. You have a stable living situation and a stable job, because the reality is that makes your life this much easier when it comes to having a baby. And if you don't have those and you still want to have a baby, reach out for resources. Check your local areas and see what is available. I will go through all of the different resource options that I'm aware of in another video, but I wanted to talk about miscarriages because I know that that's something that a lot of women are not aware of. Now with miscarriages that are further along, you may, if your body is not realizing that you have lost the pregnancy, you may have to go into the doctor, and the doctor will do a D&C, or they may give you a pill to take at home. It basically puts your body into labor and forces it out. It's not pleasant, it's not fun. Make sure you have support for that. During and after. It's painful, it sucks. I'm so sorry you have to go through this. And if you are further along where this has to be done in a doctor's office, make sure you seek counseling for it, because you definitely should get that option to be able to talk it out and get those feelings of anger or resentment that you may be holding towards your body, or whatever event that may have happened that at the time that you started to have a miscarriage, or that genetically the baby just didn't work. You need to get that therapy going so that you can feel better. You won't always pass through it, but at least be able to process it and understand what happened. There's not always a why. Again, we often don't know why there's a miscarriage, but at least you can pass through those emotions and feel a little bit better. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to try and research answers. Definitely talk with your pediatrician if you've had multiple miscarriages, because there could be something hormonally going on, or there could be something medically going on. If you're having issues getting pregnant, talk to your doctor, both of you, not just the woman, the spouse too. You both should go together, talk to fertility specialists. And if this is something that is out of your reach, try fundraisers, those types of things, to be able to get funds together to do those. But your insurance should cover these things. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you are doing okay.